Let's see. Do you have any thoughts on London Fashion Week being dead compared to the other cities? Could it ever be replaced by newer places like Shanghai and Copenhagen? Also, I love your work and everything you do. Thank you very much, Leo. I don't think London Fashion Week is dead. I just think that London Fashion Week is never going to be on the level of Milan and Paris. And what I mean by that is in scale. And that has only been made worse by Brexit. So before Brexit, at least a few buyers, a few models, a few designers used to come to London. But what Brexit did, it almost made London Fashion Week obsolete because now it's not worthwhile people going through all the paperwork just to like come to the UK. Because remember, London Fashion Week, a lot of people had to come here on work visas, not just, on like some travel visa or something. And it's very difficult to get work visas for a lot of different people, depending on where they're coming from. So it's kind of fucked the whole London Fashion Week, to be honest. That's what Brexit did. And so London designers now, all of them have showrooms in Paris or Milan. All of them, immediately they show in Paris or Milan. Look at the likes of Martine Rose, Kiko Kostadinov, all these designers, they all show in Paris or Milan, which I don't blame them because the buyers aren't coming to London. The models aren't coming to London. The press isn't coming to London because it's too much hassle. So I think one of the big reasons for London Fashion Week being dead is more the government decisions than anything else. But I still don't think it's dead. I always enjoy London because it has all these low-key, up-and-coming emerging designers who will then go on to be the Grace Wells Bonners and the Craig Greens and the Kiko Kostadinovs and the A Cold Walls and the Martine Roses and all these kind of designers. So yeah, I think it just depends how you see it. What's your thoughts on general London / UK fashion? IT, Cortez, Osbat. I mean, that's more like streetwear London UK fashion because that's one side of London fashion. The other side is, high-end designers that show at London Fashion Week and have showrooms in Paris, right? But the streetwear scene is kind of cool. I like Cortez. I really like Cortez. I think from a marketing standpoint, he's really smart, like Clint. I think he really knows what he's doing, and I think that he taps into very deep cultural things that all of us grew up on. And so I understand the nostalgia, like why he would do a collab and then do it on the 110s, do it on Air Max 95s. It makes sense. Or have a crossbar challenge, or have Air Hirachis. Those are the shoes that were really cool when I was in primary school in London. It makes sense. But I think it's a very London-centric thing. I think if you're not from London or you didn't grow up in London, I feel like it would be hard to understand a lot of the cultural references that Cortez has. And it's not just that you grew up in London. Like, if you grew up in Chelsea, you also wouldn't understand it either. But I am a fan of what he does, though. Do you think the average person's opinion matters in fashion? Yes, because everyone participates in fashion, right? Everyone wears clothing. So by just the fact that everyone wears clothing, I think everyone has a valid opinion. It just depends on what we're talking about. In terms of what people like, what people prefer, I think everyone's opinion is valid. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to prefer things. Some people prefer skinny jeans. Some people prefer wide trousers. Some people prefer black garments. Some people like loads of different colors. I think all of that is valid. I think where, let's say, the average person's opinion matters less in fashion is if they're trying to like give industry insights when they don't work in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, then their opinion would matter less. But in terms of like a general, I like this, I don't like this, I prefer this, I like this designer's work, I don't like this designer's work, I think all of that is valid. I definitely think all of that is valid. Let's see. I think I've incorrectly worded my question. What I mean is not if their opinion is valid. What I mean is that opinion felt or heard at all? I think it depends. So if the average fashion consumer doesn't have like a platform or an audience, then their opinion obviously isn't heard in that sense. But I feel like the average fashion consumer, their opinion is heard by their wallet. Because ultimately, if consumers don't buy stuff, brands are forced to do something different. It's just like Burberry is not doing well because consumers, for whatever reason, have decided they don't like Burberry anymore as much as they did. So Burberry is struggling financially, so they are forced into making changes. They changed their CEO. They changed their creative director. So I think, yeah, everyone has a very valid opinion in fashion, to be honest. I think their opinions are felt or heard. Just depends on what framework. Let's see. A lot of people been learning about fabrics and tailoring like the older generations and not spending a lot of money on plain cheap quality from fashion brands. People rather buy quite luxury and mix. Oh, I have a hot take about this, right? So my hot take is that the reason, like the rationale for a lot of people buying high quality clothing because of quite luxury, they're not buying it because they know what high quality is. They're buying it because they're trying to cosplay the upper class, or what they think the upper class does, or what they think the upper class represents. So it's more of a thing of, you know, the upper class. I learnt one time in Succession that the upper class, they don't wear Burberry, and they wear Xenia, and they wear you know, all these kind of brands. And so those are the brands I'm going to buy just because it's kind of like quite luxury. But I don't think that many people know about quality, because in real life, when I talk to people about like garment quality and fabrics and tell them, oh, why don't you get this or that, most, if not all, people don't have a clue what I'm talking about, apart from my friends that work in fashion. So I don't necessarily think the younger generation is that well educated on like garment quality and stuff. I think they have very strange reasonings for why they buy into those brands. Elle says, regular people cosplaying the rich is not a hot take at all. It's been that way. Was watching a video about furs yesterday, and the rich stopped wearing mink because it became affordable. That's such a maybe because I'm not rich, but like, why would you stop wearing something because it's more affordable to others? Like, if you like it, you like it, whether other people can afford it or not. That's so strange. That's such a strange way to just think in life, to just be in life. Like, your life is predicated around other people not having things. That is so weird. I would just care about what I like and do what I like and not care about what other people are doing or not doing. That's such a strange way to live your life. Really, really strange. The price dropped from like 10k to £500, so they started wearing coloured furs a la Fendi and kept up with seasons to prove their wealth to other wealthy folk. Was a great video. That's so interesting. Like, if I just don't get that, man. Like, I just thought, like, if you have money, that should just mean that like you have less stresses in life, one, and then like you're not like, oh my god, like you're not in debt, you're not stressed out, you're not wondering where am I going to eat tomorrow, that kind of stuff. So your life is at ease, and then you can just follow your passions. So why is everything like, oh, those people are wearing it, we can't wear that, we do, like, you should be focusing on your passions and what you like, rather than caring so much about, oh my god, is it affordable now? Is it affordable? Okay, let's stop wearing this, guys. The peasants are wearing it. The peasants are wearing it. Okay, guys. Oh my god, it's too affordable now. Let's stop doing that. It's so weird. Like, people just need to learn to live their lives. Like, I don't see how there could be, you could live in a very fulfilled way, always worrying about signaling wealth and, you know, not doing what poorer people than you do. It's just weird. I just find that so strange. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind-the-scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club, where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.